Hi everyone, my name is Crissie, and if you have not checked out my video on international exchange experience, feel free to go check it out. But today this video will be just about me running through about the curriculum here in SMU, also known as Singapore Management University, and I'm currently a year 4 student, hence I am willing to share with you guys about the course sequence of my own university life, as well as some other things that I have been seeing on Reddit. So without further ado, let's look at what I have here. So as I have mentioned, I have completed 4 years of my life here in SMU, and this is what I have. So here as you can see here, this is actually my course sequence curriculum worksheet that I have created on Google Spreadsheet. So in this sheet, what I have here is that my curriculum is split into different baskets. So I first start off with the University Core. So the University Core is a basket that is filled with general modules that you have to complete in SMU. So regardless of which school you come from, you have to do 2 managing electives, 1 modes of thinking module, numeracy, writing and reasoning, unless you have been exempted because of good grade, as well as to do internship. So for me, what I did in SMU was I completed BGS, also known as Business, Government and Society, and Leadership and Team Building, all before the end of year 2. I also had to complete modes of thinking, which is here in this case for me is computational thinking, because I'm taking an information systems degree, and computational thinking is actually a compulsory course for all information system students. And lastly, I took introductory statistics, which is also a compulsory course for me as an information system student as well. So in this case, because I major in smart city management and technology, hence statistics, I have to do this before the end of my year 1 term 1. Writing and reasoning, because I did not take any general paper course in A level. I came from polytechnic background, so hence I had to do writing and reasoning in my year 1 as well. For internship, I completed my internship around the summer after my year 2. So that is for the capabilities. So the next up is University Core Communities. So what is this about? Is actually all about broadening your worldview. So hence you can see courses like Economics and Society, as well as Technology and Society elective, and Cultures of Modern World elective, and Community Service. So what is Community Service? Community Service is a compulsory component in SMU where you have to give back at least 80 hours of your time to serve the society. So this can be done either through local, so serving community service in Singapore, or outside of Singapore. For me, back in year 1, I completed a module called Technological Solutions to Urban Challenges in my year 1 term 1, because at that time this course was only available back then, and this course actually helps me to not only just complete technology and society elective, but it also helped me to fulfill another invisible basket that's not here. It's called the Singapore Studies. Another basket is called Asia Studies, which I will later get onto that. For Cultures of Modern World, I took up Fashioning a Nation, so I did this at the end of my year 2. For Economics and Society, I completed it in year 1 because this was a compulsory module for me as an information system student, and this was pre-assigned to me in year 1 term 2. And lastly, Community Service, I completed this around the year 1 summer, so this was 2 years ago. The last part for University Core is actually called the Civilization, which actually consists of 2 credits. So why is it 2 credit? Because global exposure is a component, but it's come from different varieties of stuff. So global exposure aim of it is to actually get students to go out of Singapore. So this could mean doing community service outside of Singapore. You can also do internships overseas as well. You can go for exchange, which is what I did, or you can also take part in modules that have overseas component that will help to clear global exposure. So another module in SMU is called the Big Question. So what exactly is Big Question? So Big Question is a module to enhance students' thinking about the not just worldview, it's also talking about the local and global things that is prevalent in today's society. So at the time when I was completing this module, the theme for Big Question was called Global and Local. So global and local focus on trying to understand about what is space within the global, what is also the space within the local, and broadening that personal space, intimate space, and such. So every year, if you are a new batch of students coming to SMU, the team change according to whatever that SMU decides for the students. So there are other teams like happiness and suffering, and wealth and poverty, I guess, and also war and peace. So these are something like Big Questions. It's a very good module, and it's compulsory for all SMU students to complete. And for ethics and social responsibility, because I'm an information systems student, I have to complete this module. But if you are a business student, you are completing ethics and corporate responsibility instead. So the next up is different. So this is related to my major. So I'm from Smart City Management Technology, hence I have to complete core modules from my own major. For my time, I had to complete not just programming, data management, analytics foundation, but I had to complete introduction to public policy, sustainable digital city, interaction design and prototyping, as well as so many other modules as you can see here: geographic information systems for urban planning, foundations of cybersecurity, and so many more. So what happens is that some of these modules might be pre-assigned to you in year 1 or year 2. And for subjects such as public policy, sustainable digital cities, those are actually you have to bid them. But if there's offline enrollment, I highly suggest to go for it, because you are actually saving the money for the bidding to bid for other modules. Because SMU goes by the bidding system, some subjects can be taken at a very cheap price. So I'll highly suggest to save money for certain subjects. And if you are allowed for offline enrollment, I highly recommend, because you will get the space and you don't have to worry too much about where you should allocate your money in. Another subjects that usually have to be bidded at low price is also geographic information systems for urban planning. So these and some other modules you can bid for low price as well. And this last up, this is called the Smart City project experience. So what is the Smart City project experience? So this is actually also known as a capstone project, and in SMU people like to call it FYP, final year project, because people like to put this off towards the end of their school years. So you can actually take this during year 3 or year 4. There's like stuff like example project experience research for, so this is what I did. So research is different from doing applications. You are actually doing more of an analysis, real world kind of case study for companies outside of SMU or for the professors in SMU. And if you are doing IS project experience for applications, you are doing projects in a bigger group, and you have to create a prototype for the whole of the project, and you have to showcase to the evaluators and your project supervisor. So this is actually IS project experience. So the next up, this is more free flow. So this is the major electives. For IS students, you get to choose different subjects as long as you fulfill all the IS step elective or any IS track to complete these 6 credits. So for me, during my time here in SMU, I took up basic web app development. I also did a course on AI, learning about the governance framework. I even traveled overseas to Thailand to do a data analytics project, and also did courses like banners in socio-technical system. So this learning about the biases in algorithms is a very interesting subject. I highly recommend. And also, as I mentioned in my exchange video, I have done 2 modules overseas. So these subjects are also counted into my major elective because they have some elements of computing. So as long as you complete either some IS steps elective, so it's a more broader range within the IS courses. IS track is talking about the mandatory courses in the IS major, or you can take IS related courses. So IS related courses usually refers to courses outside of School of Computing, such as School of Business and School of Accountancy, but these courses have a little bit of elements of computing, that's why it's called related courses. So free elective, this is straightforward explanation, just taking any courses within SMU as long as you cleared 6 credits. So but some people, if you have good results, you can actually get exempted for some of the free elective up to 3. For me, in this case, I did have exemption, so I had to take up 6 credits, and this was very easy to fulfill because I could clear this at exchange, as well as I can just take up any subject, like example cyber threat intelligence from computer science, which happened to fulfill free elective. I also did mindfulness course. This was from the School of Business. It's also free elective because it has no computing element, but it's something that can be counted towards my credit. I also did courses within the local exchange at SUTD, also known as Singapore University of Technology and Design, and I mentioned before 2 courses came from the time I did in Hong Kong, and also some upcoming subjects. If you also have second major, it will also be counted as well. So for me, the next coming term, I'm going to do on modules related to fintech. So these are also something that I place inside my course sequence worksheet. This is all the basket that I have. So what is all these other columns apart from module names? So prerequisite means that these modules have to be completed before you take up the subject. So in this case here, we can see that, for example, analytics foundation, what are the prerequisites before you complete this course is that you have to do programming and some basic foundation of statistics. Then you can see other subjects as well, like analytics application for smart living. You can see that there are 2 prerequisites. So one is analytics foundation, and also geographic information systems for urban planning. So how do you know about the prerequisite is to check the course document for when you are trying to bid them, and that's how you know what are the prerequisites, so you can plan well on your curriculum worksheet. So remarks are something that I wanted to see whether what is being fulfilled. So this is how I know what subject I can bid and what I should be planning for my next steps in doing up the curriculum worksheet. Bidding amount, as mentioned, SMU uses bidding, so this is where I put all my amount of how I should be bidding for the subjects. So this is also self-explanatory. breaking out the column based on the year. So this is how I know what to do, and this is up to you as long as you complete your courses within the span of 4 years or less. I also have another tab here that is actually called the summary. So summary is actually the how many credits that I have accumulated over the course of 4 years. This is how I know what I should take and what I have left. So neither is the column that I know how many credits that I have not completed. And then there's also this tab. So this tab here is actually called the bidding calculator, because I wanted to see how much I'm left with to bid in the subsequent terms. So in this case here, what happened was that I have bidded 3 modules for my next term. So this is how I calculated my amount, and then this is the total based on the amount. My current balance, this is subjective, this is based on the bidding website that I will later show on, and also how many balance left based on the current balance and the bidding total. Future balance, this is what happened when you want to predict how much you will have in your next subsequent round. So based on the remaining balance plus the surveys, that is good because you actually gain more money for your bidding. So if you are a SMU student, highly recommend to do your surveys so you can get more money to bid for good courses or the courses that you really want to take. Yeah, this is my course sequence worksheet, and I'll be running through some of the other informations that are useful to understand what are the baskets and what are the bidding all about. So now I'll be talking about core curriculum. So what is core curriculum? As mentioned, this is the mandatory curriculum that all SMU students have to go through regardless of which school you are. So the aim of core curriculum is to actually train students to be more competent, adaptable, and be a responsible citizen. So these are the things that what SMU is trying to aim and shape students. So the ones that I was mentioning about, these are the baskets. So we have here the capabilities, communities, civilizations. So numeracy, as mentioned, there are statistics, calculus, and statistical theory. Based on your school, I suggest to check on the course sequence to see which courses that you have to do. Likewise, modes of thinking other than computational thinking, there's also VUCA and critical thinking. So what is actually mode of thinking? So mode of thinking, as mentioned, there's critical thinking. There's also VUCA. So VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous context. I have seen business students taking VUCA or critical thinking as their subjects, but if you are an IS student like me, you have to take computational thinking. This is compulsory. There's also managing basket. So managing basket is actually a lot of things. So other than just business, government, and society, you can do like spreadsheet, you can do management communication, and so many more, like capital markets in China, accounting for entrepreneurs, and so many more here. So, but again, not all courses are available every semester, but the most common ones are business, government, and society, spreadsheet modeling, leadership, and management communication. So on to communities. So there's first of all economics and society. This is a compulsory courses for most of the students here in SMU. So this is a subject that where you have to learn introductory economics, understanding what are the markets, how market activity shapes by both private and public sector, how does policy affect society, trade, or blah blah blah. So this is economics and society. Then we also have technology and society basket, as mentioned. The aim of it is to actually learn how to identify problems across domains and space, So understand the relationship between science and technology in society, so many courses. So one of which, as mentioned, is technological solutions to urban challenges. So there's others like climate change, technology and world change, urban sustainability, outbreak, epidemics and pandemics, and so many more. So again, not all courses are available every semester. And lastly, it's cultures of modern world. So this is learning how to look at historical developments, how to draw comparison of cultural perspective and linguistic, and so many more. You can study art history, you can study languages, literature. You can understand about food, which is a subject I'm going to take next term. You can even understand about politics, the age in Singapore, about the aging population, and so many languages: Spanish, Thai, Turkey, democracy in America. Again, not all courses available every semester. And last one is the civilization. So there's ethics and social or corporate responsibility, big questions, and global exposure. So just now what I was mentioning as well, there's some things like Singapore studies and Asia studies. So these are the basket. There's an additional requirement that can be fulfilled through studying modules. So example, if you study economics and society, you can actually use this module to clear Asia study basket. And so does big questions, which actually also clear Singapore studies. This is the additional graduation requirements and the overall view of the core curriculum in SMU. Next up, I'll be looking through at this bidding online system, also known as BOSS. This is the bidding system that all SMU students will use in order to get hold of the subject. So this is actually the summary page of my BOSS bidding. In this page here, you can see the critical dates for the bidding, start time and end. There's also information on how many courses you can bid or enroll. And on the E account, this is where you can see your balance and the remaining balance left after you bid for modules, or some of the modules have been pre-assigned. And on the right hand column, it's actually the bidding results for each round that you have bidded. Currently here, there's no information available because there's no new bidding happening. When the bidding happens, you're supposed to see the results for that round, so you can see whether it's unsuccessful or successful. Next up is the enrollment. So for this coming term, I'm enrolled into 3 subjects. And also the last column here, this is where you can see whether you get any exemptions or credit transfer from local or international student exchange. For me, I have about 4 or 5 credits you can see here that I have done over the past 4 years. So anything I have done for the exchange is all also reflected here. Let's go to plan and bid. So plan and bid, this is where you can see again your exemptions, what are your enrollment, term information, e-account. So this class timetable, this is where you can see how you can plan out your timetable, what courses you want to take for different timings on each day. And you can even see your exam timetable. So that's how we ourselves as SMU students know what to plan out for our curriculum course sequence. If you go to add to cart, this is where you see all the subjects. So you can choose according to what you want to see. For example, I want to look at information system. I click search. I can see so many of the courses here. So example, I can look at maybe geospatial analytics, and on the right hand side you can see all the course outline icons. So this is the course document, and you can also see the instructor's name, where's the classroom, start and end time. So in SMU is around 3 hours of class time, the day, start, end date. So this is based on the academic calendar. You You can even see how many seats are there available and how many people are enrolled into the course. We click on this number here, G1. So G1 stands for group 1. This is your section group. You can see all the course description, you again course outline, you can see what course area this module can fulfill. You can even see things like enrollment requirements, so any prerequisites or co-requisites. If you click on course outline, you can actually see the document of the whole course. Once, if you actually want to bid for a subject, you just add to the cart and it will actually transport you back to the same page with a different color of this box somewhere in the calendar. So this is actually how the boss bidding works. So in SMU, the most important thing is to always look at the student handbook, and what is in the student handbook is actually the contents like what is called curriculum, what's your major requirement, free electives, what can be fulfilled for second major, and if you have double degree has a very specific requirement, so you can check this out. And so there are information on how many credits you can bring home from exchange. So this again can be accessed on SMU portal known as the Oasis. With that, I have come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions relating to this short video, I highly recommend to put it on the comment and I will look at it, or you can look for me on Reddit. My username is CrushTiggy, and that's where I'm always very active on, and I always read comments for most university stuff over there, so you can feel free to go to Reddit and find me. And with that, I'll come to the end of the video. Like, subscribe, and have a good day.